I'm Commander Shepard, and you're listening to my favorite podcast on the Citadel, Raw Dogs.
Drink this.
It's got to be. This has got to be the right way.
We can have opinions about high concept art, but as far as left and right, give us some time here, folks.
This is correct.
Dyslexia is a real thing that I have.
Hi, everybody.
It's tough to. Oh, we're starting.
Oh no, we're fine. We've actually been recording for a little bit, I think.
Oh, good.
I try and make sure I catch a little bit of the
banter.
The banter.
Yeah.
People love it. People love hearing us talk so much.
Apparently they do. Every time I tell my mom I have fans, I'm like, she's just like, what? What does that even mean? I'm like, I don't know. They listen to me talk. She's like, really, you? Oh. Okay. I'm like, all right, Mom.
It's like explaining to people like I'm not like famous where your mom would know who I am.
No.
But like someone else besides people I know who I am. So I'm that level.
I'm like they're less fans and more friends I made along the way, but But yeah, and then she's like,
In the bearded 20
you?
to 30 crowd, we're very big.
Yeah.
Yeah. We describe our faces on this audio-based podcast a lot.
I'm devilishly handsome.
You're like the George
100%.
Clooney type.
Yeah, George Clooney. I'm George Clooney. Isn't that what he said last time?
Yeah, Tyler always refers to himself as having a more George Clooney aesthetic or something.
I don't know what that was. I listened to the entire last episode.
He got hit in the head with a shovel by his brother, and then his nose got bent, so he had his brother hit him again with the shovel, and now it's just back to
now
normal.
he just likes God of War.
A lot.
Ew.
Oh, hot take.
This is Raw Dogs. I'm Brad,
I'm Dylan.
and we have a special guest today.
I am Jack.
I wanted to get that out of the way. We're part of the Tokyo Beat Podcast Network. Check out the other shows. You don't like God of War, Jack?
So the new Gods of War. I assume we're talking about the Dad of Boy God of War.
Dad and boy. Yeah.
Yes.
Right, old God of War is very fun, a little hacky slashy, like spectacle fighter kind of thing.
Arena control.
It's very much of its time, like that gamer attitude. Move your analog sticks to perform sex acts.
And you know what? But like the actual combat of the old God of War is so much fun. The new God of Wars had some amazing mechanics, some really interesting fights that they buried in 15 extra hours of story that was superfluous, in my opinion.
Yeah, they call that world building now.
Fuck that. It would have been such an amazing game. The Valkyrie fights in God of War are some of the greatest combat I have experienced. It tests all your skills that you've learned. You get to use all your movesets. You really have to focus on the boss. If they would have wrapped up that story in 5 hours and then opened up the world and just said, go do what you want now, I think that would have been like game of the decade for me.
Yeah.
But because they buried it, it felt like a boring slog. This is, of course, just in my opinion.
No, this is the facts.
We state opinions as facts on here, and everyone has to deal with it.
I was not loving Ragnarok at first. To me, it was like just rehashing a lot of the 2018. It was when you actually took control of Atreus. I was like, this is exciting, actually. New gameplay, something different.
Yeah.
And then anytime that Odin was on screen, I was like just loving it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love that actor. Forget his name.
I don't know.
Yeah, but Odin was great. I was loving that. And the Valkyrie fights were fun and intense.
They're beautiful.
I almost bought that PS5 over at Target.
You keep looking at it.
I keep looking at it. It's just $600. I don't know if I can spend.
It's just so not necessary.
It doesn't
as
feel
someone
like it.
who is a PS5 owner and is currently playing my PS5 for the first time in maybe a
Wow,
year.
really?
What do you
was
have
there to play? Yeah.
What do you have to play that's not on PC, Xbox, or whatever? Right?
Spider-Man and God of War.
Spider-Man, God of War. I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West now.
Yep.
I really want to play
Which
that.
is fine. It's a fine, lovely game. Zero Dawn is still out there. Just replay that.
I mean, yeah.
Does it feel very much like Zero Dawn?
Same. I hear it's more looty.
Looty?
Looted. Like there's more loot. to pick up like headdresses and
there's a bunch of crap. It's
spear +3.
It's like all of the glory of and I'm only like maybe 15 hours into Horizon Forbidden West. I'm a very slow gamer.
It's fine.
But it feels like, oh yeah, this is great. I love this game. I love this combat mechanics. I love robot dinosaurs. But I kind of know this world already, so I don't feel the need to explore like I did in the first one.
Yeah.
And Aloy is just they're going for a you really need friends kind of story. You can't do everything on your own. So they turned Aloy into an insufferable dick.
I saw the word you were gonna say. That's fine.
I wanted to go a little gender neutral there, as not to be a misogynist, but like they just make her very insufferable so that she can learn a lesson, and it's like, oh,
well, she already went through her story arc in that first one,
right?
Like everything was kind of wrapped up for her mentally. She became the hero at the end of it, and now they needed something for her to learn. It seems like she really did learn how to make friends in the first one.
Yeah.
She kind of understood.
That was like the most beautiful part of the first one for me is if you did all of these optional side quests, at the end, they join you for the big fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the end of Mass Effect 3 when like everything comes together, even though if you didn't do it, everything comes together.
Kinda.
Yeah.
And then you get 3 pillars of energy to walk into.
And a little boy explaining how the game ends.
Oh, which ones did you guys choose?
I didn't play Mass Effect.
I didn't know I was choosing an ending, so I just walked towards the left light, and I didn't know I was choosing anything.
Control?
I think it was the good ending.
The blue one? No, I mean, there's no like good ending. Let's be clear. There's one that's control, synthesize is the green one, the middle one.
I think I did the synthesize. I don't know.
And I did destroy the red. Because why wouldn't I want to destroy the Reapers?
I just finished playing a bunch of games. It's Indie Games Month here on here at the Dogcast.
Oh, and all we've been talking about is AAA.
Welcome to Indie Games Month, where we talk about little games like Mass Effect 3, God of War Ragnarok, and Horizon Forbidden West.
That game's 11 years old.
I did just finish, though, playing a bunch of wonderful indie titles.
Yes.
And talking about the PlayStation 5 and like what to play, I did get their Plus Premium thing,
sure,
and I have a hard drive, so tons of stuff is just downloaded. And I was looking through there. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I have Ghost of Tsushima. I have Horizon Forbidden West, and a bunch of these games that I haven't played that are always just like waiting.
Yeah.
So I started Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it just does not look that good.
Ghost of Tsushima. Again, indie game. Indie game. Ghost of Tsushima is one of the very few games that I 100%ed. I just wanted to stay in that world for as long as possible. So much fun.
Yeah, I want to check that out for sure.
It's really worth it. That's worth your
I've
time.
always wanted to touch and play that game. I don't have anything to play it on. I technically have your PS4 still, but I'm not hooking that shit up. Yeah, it's collecting dust.
I mean, it's a very nice Blu-ray player. So if you need to watch Blu-ray movies, you got that. That's what we use my PS5 for most of the time.
Well, I mean, like I've got an Xbox Series X, so I'm fine as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Arguably, that is my favorite like media station, even though the menus are trash on the Xbox. I don't understand who designed those. At the end of the day, I'm trying to look up my game library, and I'm like, which ones have I bought uninstalled? Which ones can I go back to? What have I bought on the store? Finding that menu is impossible. Yes. They don't want you to know. They want you to buy it again.
Yeah.
They want you to stumble across a different app where they have recommended things, so you just stay on the ecosystem for longer and longer.
In the loop.
Yeah, PlayStation is also terrible. Steam is not the best, but at least you know how to. Theoretically, you can just click a button here or there.
Yeah,
it's all terrible.
And I know all the hentai games I've got on Steam.
Wait a minute. Do those count as indie games?
They do.
They count as something. So here we are.
Oh my God.
It's Indie Games Month, and we are going to be talking today about a wonderful little fishing title. why did you choose Dredge?
I chose Dredge because I was put on the spot on one of the episodes, and I kept thinking when we talk about these games, a lot of the games we play are about action, and a lot of them are also about violence and killing. There's not a lot about like just the exploring or like I would call it like a chill game. We don't have a lot of chill games on our rosters. I think last year I chose Hollow Knight.
Yeah. That was
Hollow Knight.
That was amazing though.
Hollow Knight's amazing. And the year before that I chose
it was either Edith Finch or Kentucky Route Zero.
Kentucky. I chose
You ever played Kentucky, Jack?
No.
Oh man, that is one of the best video games ever.
I don't believe you.
It's
actually
barely
a video game.
It's barely a video game. It's more of like an art piece.
Yeah, so I would not like that.
You don't think
that is
so?
not my thing. I want to play video games. I don't want to sit back and experience a video game. That's what movies and books are for.
But when you walk left to right a lot, whoa.
No. Yeah,
it's actually pretty good. I chose that because it's like modern America. It's this really nice piece about
Dredge.
I chose Dredge because I don't choose a lot. I know I'm trying to like build up our roster. A lot of the stuff we do is kind of based off of our proclivities.
Proclivities.
Okay.
Proclivities.
Yeah. Okay. I'm saying that wrong, but it's kind of what we're into, and Dredge is kind of something outside of the sphere I'm technically into.
Well,
it's got
that Lovecraftian eldritch aspect,
which I like, but I'm not gaga over. I like some of Lovecraft's writing, but it's at the same time it's not something that like gets like the juices flowing. And I thought that Dredge would be an interesting choice because I had just played it at the time. I had almost beaten it, and I said, I'd like to force my friends to play something a little bit different. Yeah. And I thought that it was worthy of being on this list because for what this game is and the small team, I thought this game is fantastic. It's got issues. I mean, every game does, but this time around, I just wanted to go a little outside the park, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jack, I reached out to you about chatting about Elden Ring with us again, and then you're like, let's do Tears of the Kingdom. And I said, we need time. I need
You'll
time.
be back for that.
Fucking Tears of the Kingdom is okay. Real quick, it's so fucking good.
But thank you.
But Dredge.
Yeah, and then I said it's Indie Games Month. These are some games we're doing, and you were like very excited about Dredge.
Like I like the sim genre, like farm sims, that sort of stuff. Like
you're a Stardew Valley boy.
I'm a hardcore Stardew Valley boy. Big into that. And so, like, the idea of this, this is just a fishing simulator. I was actually pitching this game. I forgot we were talking about Dredge today, and I was pitching this to another friend last night, where it's like, it's just a fishing simulator. Meat and potatoes, you are fishing and building up your boat to fish better.
Yeah.
That's the loop. That's it. And then, like, over it is this blanket of unknown, unseen horror where, the fish starts slowly
Don't
mutating.
stay out late at night on the waters.
Right? You have a madness meter. The fish get slowly mutated, and then there's a creeper who will buy those mutated fish for higher prices. It's beautiful.
That's what makes it really cool. There's this hidden... every corner, even though the islands are ostensibly... It's not a huge map. Building up your boat... That loop, in and of itself, is so satisfying. Yeah. Inventory management has never been this fun. And the way they make it so accessible, I think that they did a wonderful job with it. I just like, it's one of those games like Stardew. You could spend 5 hours and it feels like one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can get lost in it.
This really scratched almost a Hades itch for me, too, where it's like... one more run. I'm like, because you can go out and have a full day of fish and come back. It's like, I have time for one more. I don't work for a little bit.
Right. Like the Stardew Valley thing where you're like, I could get one more day in.
Yeah. And you push
I can almost build the silo, Yeah.
Yeah. And inventory management, like you said, it's great. I'm a Tetris guy, so it scratches an itch when all those fish just line up perfectly.
Oh, wait, if I move my engine over 2 blocks, then I could fit this fish in. Oh.
And if I put the builder at the bottom, when you're moving people around too. It's like you're upside down and you're at the bottom now because I have an aberrant shark that needs space, buddy.
Yeah, this game is just, it scratches such an itch, and it's all based around, ostensibly, the fishing game itself is not really fishing. It's essentially a prompt based radial mini game, and I thought that was going to get boring when I first played this. I'm like, okay, what is this? Come on. And eventually towards the end, I'm like, oh no, like this is really good.
You can't play down like the sound design either. Just the sound of the reel going up.
Oh yeah, no, and like, you know, speaking of those little mini games where they are short enough never to get, they never overstay their welcome, right? They're short enough, but they are challenging enough to be engaging.
Yes.
And so it's like they have that balance. And yeah, like you said, it's not about fishing. It's about fish management. It's about space management.
Yep.
Oh, my boat, if I can go a little bit faster, then I can get a little more fish during the day. So I need to catch fish to upgrade my boat so I can catch more fish, and the loop starts feeding in on itself.
Well, the loop is also, I want to go to that island because I see something out there and that looks wild. Let's go see what that is.
Yes.
Which is cool. I like exploration games. Video games where there are little nooks and crannies and secrets that reward the player for doing something a little off the cuff. I really enjoy those types of things because video games used to be a lot more like that, and it's kind of lacking these days.
Dredge, we'll go to the top here. Indie Eldritch Fishing Adventure. This was released March 30th, 2023. Is that right?
That's correct.
It's that new?
I got it day one, yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's been a good year for games this year.
It's been a good year for games.
We're always talking about it. Pikmin 4 is coming out.
Developer, I'll let you talk about Pikmin later, Dylan.
I know.
Developed by Black Salt Games out of Christchurch, New Zealand. 4 people made this entire game.
Really?
Yep.
4 people, yeah.
Yeah, that's the entire studio. Published by Team 17. They started in 2020, inspired by other games with oppressive atmospheres like Papers, Please and Frostpunk.
Oh, interesting.
Simple premise. You are a fisherman. You spend your day catching fish and returning to port to sell your bounty. If you push your luck and stay out too long, the darkness begins to play tricks on you. And yeah, we talked a little bit about the gameplay. The boat is your home. There's a day-night cycle. Storage and placement. Rods. We have engines, lights, and you can trawl as well with your nets. Yeah, so as far as the story goes, you don't get a lot when it starts up. You're a fisherman, and then you just see like fisherman wanted for this village on a little newspaper. And if you're paying attention when you replay it, the book that the guy is reading from that you find out later in the game, that book is in the opening scene, which is kind of cool. But yeah, then you promptly crash your ship on the way there because you're probably a mess at this point. You're completely lost your mind. You're missing your wife. And
hey, no spoilers.
Spoilers.
It's spoilers.
No, yeah.
I know. I agree.
First of all, when you're talking about Lovecraftian horror, the fact that you're missing your wife, that should be expected.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a surprise to anyone.
It's the one way to drive a man truly psycho.
Yeah. And yeah, you kind of just start off from scratch, and you are at, what is it, Greater Marrow? That's where you start? Yeah. And you're given a boat, and you're given a debt, and you're off to the races pretty quick. I do like how it starts off super small. Go out there, catch a few fish, come back.
Like it starts off literally gated off. Like you are in a little cove.
Between 2 crescent islands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so like you start off just going back and forth between these 2 very close islands, and it's like a little broken egg that you're in. Like
how pleasant.
Hatching.
Yeah.
Right. And it feels very safe in there. There's very few danger areas just to teach you that those opening mechanics. Sorry, cables. Just to teach you those opening mechanics, which is beautiful. And then like you have to choose. This is another brilliant thing about Dredge. You have to choose to leave the safety of your womb to go out and get more fish, because you could just stay in that cove for a very long time, earning money, doing whatever. But
I love my life. This is a great spot.
but then that drive of what else is out.
Well, I mean, you could potentially just get a shitload of money, but there are things gated off specifically on like the radial islands surrounding that like core area, like the ability to dredge is locked away by the collector. It's like hidden knowledge to you. You don't even know what dredging is until you
yourself say, Brad, now you can do this, Brad. When you go visit yourself at the island.
Spoiler alert, it's you in the mirror.
Yeah.
Which looks like a doorway, which is a really interesting visual element, by the way.
Well, and the first time you see the collector, it's after you like pay off your debt and you're spending enough time in Greater Marrow, and then this guy just emerges looking through like your window, which it's great. It's always a reflection.
Yeah, but like, were you surprised by this?
The twist?
I
didn't see it coming.
No, I didn't, because the reflection. When you go to the manor the first time and he shows up, I thought it was like a doorway. I thought he was greeting you at the doorway and he just had the book. It turns out it's a mirror. And then obviously your reflection on the window. I'm like, oh my God, I should have gotten this all along. And then you see the early cutscenes and you're like, oh, the book's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just had a split personality.
Classic.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I totally didn't see it coming. The collector is kind of what pushes you to go to different areas a lot too, if you want. I mean, he says, I'm missing a music box and these items, and it does kind of push you. It's like you should go over towards, what is that first area? The Gale Cliffs. He kind of pushes you to a certain area right away, but your verb set, it doesn't change too much. You get dredging, crab pots, and trawling. That's the entirety of like what you do fishing wise. But then it's just little bits more, like here's like stuff to get rid of debris, here's some bombs, bait. I don't know. I wound up using that core verb set, those core things that you do. I just did most of that. I didn't experiment with bait. I got these new abilities. I never needed to use any haste.
Right. I used bait because bait actually gets you higher value fish. On several occasions, it would pay for like an upgrade completely, like a nice like shark, which takes up half of your inventory. I saw the value to it, but you don't need to do it. Like that depth is there for people who want it, but it's not necessary to actually get through the game itself.
Because there's tons of abilities in this game that I wound up not fucking around with too much.
Well, eventually you unlock basically fast travel.
Which is a weird concept in a fishing game.
I know.
Fast travel in general is weird, but like again, that's the wonderful thing is like the story doesn't necessarily matter. The bonus mechanics doesn't necessarily matter because that core loop is so strong.
Right.
You can like it gives every player that flexibility, which is how a good game is supposed to be designed.
How important in video games is a story to you?
0.
Really? So it's all about the game itself, truly? Because I know people on certain ends of the spectrum. I know that Tyler, who's going to be joining us shortly, loves story in video games. He's a cinematic game player. He enjoys storytelling through the art of video games. I don't necessarily have that myself because I'm playing Diablo 4. That story is wretched and stupid and makes no sense and is really dumb. And at times I'm like, oh, I guess
the demons escaped and now we're going to heaven.
That's essentially it. Yeah.
That's all you need. For a lot of games, that's like, I mean,
I can get the core concepts, but these characters mean nothing to me. All their hopes, pains, and struggles are nothing. It's just like, oh yeah, Diablo's mom is here. Okay.
Diablo's mom is here.
Like that's basically it. That's the plot.
And I don't want to say like I never care about story, because there are some beautiful stories in video games that I absolutely love. As we were talking about earlier, Horizon Zero Dawn, I think is a fantastic story.
Great story.
I think it's a beautiful story that I was emotional at the end of it. It was very cathartic. It was a beautiful story. Not I don't think stories are necessary. I think those are like icing on the cake, where it's like, oh, I have this beautiful cake. If we can drip a little icing on that, that is beautiful. I think video games are still running into a problem in which they don't know how to tell stories.
No, they do not, because it's not about, because what they're focusing on isn't telling the story through the gameplay itself. They still segment it off as cutscenes. Exactly. And I think that ends up being the problem. That's why Dark Souls and a lot of these Souls games succeed, is that its storytelling is literally based off of incidental things you find throughout the world.
Yes.
And it's never taking you out of the gameplay.
No.
At most, you'll get like a 5 to 10 second cutscene.
Right.
Yeah. Instead, it's all... I accidentally stabbed a guy because I didn't know that I could do that.
Right.
Yeah, because you're still in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that was me introduced to Dark Souls back in the day. All of a sudden, there's like a merchant, and I'm like... person bad.
Right.
I just attacked him.
Just killed him.
And then he was very angry at me from then on.
Well, I mean, at least you could get his blade.
Yeah.
That's actually a good blade in Dark Souls. The merchant.
But
one.
like even something like Dredge, bringing it back to Dredge, like it does most of its storytelling through just the world itself, just through the atmosphere, which I think is wonderful. That goes a long way to sell its tone. The actual story of like why we're there or what we're looking for, to me, I'll be honest with you, I was clicking next. I didn't care.
You're not a visual novel boy, because I would actually maybe almost describe this as like 1/10 visual novel.
I love the art design.
The art design is awesome. The illustrations rule.
Just
the characters.
You just like, like this, the fishmonger is just like deeply sunken eyes. And you don't need to have him move. You don't need to have anything other than just like, you hear that sound of like the fish scraping across as he like buys it.
Yeah.
And that is all the experience that I need. If I wasn't playing this for a podcast, I would have just tapped through everything.
Yeah.
I do love the simplicity of the story, though. Like, you see this retired whaler, he's like, my brother's a dick. And then you talk to the brother, he's like, I'm a bit of a dick.
It's very funny. Will you help me make up with my brother?
Right.
Yeah. There's
You tell him I'm really sorry. And then you just go back and forth.
So the fact that you can't get off your boat, like actually get off your boat and explore and walk around, I think they needed these characters to cement you to the fact that these islands are places that you could visit, because there's no other way to kind of illustrate that. You know what I mean? Like they want you to feel like you're visiting this town. So they have to give it like these personalities in order for you to kind of attach yourself to them. Otherwise, you're just seeing these facades, and which is fine, but I mean, in like Civ 6, do you think anything's happening in like the Colosseum you just built? No, it's not.
Oh, well, and I guess like that to me is the balance of storytelling, where it's like you want a purpose. Why am I doing this? Oh, there are people that I can help. Oh, here's a visualization of this people. That helps. Like a story can be incredibly helpful. I think there are so many instances of people who love a video game just because of the story, and the gameplay sucks. And it's like, I think we now have like one of the greatest examples.
I'll never understand it.
Well, and it's like,
I mean, I get it.
It's the medium, and it's like, The Last of Us, a video game, so many people love, but they love the story. The gameplay is garbage. It's hot garbage.
I tried playing it and I couldn't do it because I'm like, there's no gameplay here.
There are sections in that game.
There are sections. You're bargaining right now.
I'm not bargaining. I'm not even going to defend it that hard, because I think the show did a better job than the game ever.
And that's the point.
Did.
That's the point where it's like, oh, this is the correct medium for this story. Not every
Naughty
story.
Naughty Dog is always obsessed with that crap, though. It's the same way I don't like Uncharted games. I'm like, I can only deal with this Nathan Fillion wannabe for so long.
This gameplay, right? Yeah.
Well, and it's also like,
that was me making quote fingers. I realized we're on an audio podcast. Fine. The gameplay.
Too used to being on video, my friend.
Right.
I think that like the way they tell it never overstays its welcome. It's always like conversations where you can glean things from. It is things you pick up in the world, sort of a la like the BioShock audio tapes. Like I think that works. I think it's like you can take as much from this as you want.
Yeah, I like, that you talk to this person, they have 5 sentences, but what I really like is the way the quest board is organized. You have like just it's clearly probably just a board in your cabin, and just like you slap this up.
Absolutely.
This person needs to be delivered to this island. She's lost her dad, and all of these. And I like that simple quest board. So when I did get tired of just fishing, which was hard to do, because I'm like, I'll just go fishing again. That's fine. Haven't been over there. Wow, look at that. I found a plate. This is cool.
A spoon? Is that important? Should I sell the spoon? Should I keep the spoon?
And then all of a sudden I have 20 spoons in my storage box, and I'm like, do I save these spoons? And
I mean, you got to eat with something.
We just dredged something really weird up, though, at the bottom of the water.
Glub, glub. He looks like a big fish man.
Some sort of an aberration of George Clooney.
Oh, gross.
Oh, man, that's me.
Wait.
Oh, no, I made it. There we go. Unmuted. Hey, I'm here.
He just emerged out of the water, gleaming and naked.
Yes, it's a beautiful, beautiful sight.
It's a beautiful night.
Yeah.
We're talking Dredge, huh?
Yeah. How's it going, Tyler?
Good. Great game.
He rushed it.
I woke up in a different time zone today, so I was in Michigan.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Is Michigan a different time zone?
Yeah.
That's
What,
easy.
like
Michigan is Eastern?
The eastern half?
Yeah. Once you get like east of Escanaba.
I don't know what Escanaba is.
Dude, that's North Michigan.
I heard about this movie with Jeff Daniels from
Escanaba
2001.
and the Moonlight?
Yeah.
My coworker's like, I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's an important movie.
Yeah, you got to see it.
It's about the buckless Youper. He's never got a buck, and his Native American wife like blesses him that this will be his year. And then something with aliens happens at the end. I've never seen it.
What's it called?
Escanaba and the Moonlight.
Yeah.
Starring Jeff Daniels. I think it was like after Fargo was really hot, and they're like, do something like that. Yeah.
I watched it when I was,
right.
my family rented it. I don't remember when or how, but I watched the entire thing and I'm like, geez, this is boring. Can I just go play Lego?
And my coworker's like, I'm not saying it's good.
No,
I'm
it's
just
not.
saying it's a movie.
Yep. It was
Holy
one of
crap.
It was one of 4 VHS tapes that was in my buddy's cabin when we were kids up in Hayward. So I've seen it at least 3 times.
So you probably jerked off to it quite a bit.
I don't think I was quite that old yet.
Really?
Yeah, I was really little.
Oh.
Yeah, I was
Not old enough to appreciate sexy Jeff Daniels.
yes. No. There's a
No way.
farting scene in it though that made me laugh really hard as a kid.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man, dude.
Yeah.
You do one good farting scene, then that's all they want you to do for the rest of your movies.
Yeah.
Was this pre or post Dumb and Dumber?
I think it was 2001, so it'd be post.
I think it's
Okay,
post.
all right.
Yeah.
Poor Jeff Daniels.
Yeah. It was
That's-
on I watched it on
yeah.
a little boob tube VHS, so like it's the right way
yeah.
to watch it. It was just
Yeah.
it was a mess.
I have a few of those lying around the house. Yeah. Okay.
Listen, I've seen Batman
that
Returns.
movie's an aberration, is what it is.
Right?
Yeah.
I've seen Batman Returns so many times, it must have shaped my psyche in some very significant way.
But not the Schumacher cut.
No, Batman
Returns.
Returns is Burton.
It's
We're talking about
Burton.
DeVito, Michelle
okay.
Pfeiffer. Yeah.
So Dredge is pretty good.
Yeah. I've enjoyed Dredge. I don't want to spoil anything for Celeste, but I'm very bad at Celeste. And so it kind of ate up a little bit of my Dredge time. So I haven't beaten it all the way.
Oh,
But
that's fine.
I do enjoy the zen-ness of just going fishing when I want to. And then when I'm feeling a little squirrely, checking my board and doing some quests.
Yeah.
I do like, I don't know how much you guys have talked about, but I do like the kind of cosmic weirdness atmosphere that it's got going for it. It makes me feel like I'm
Yeah.
in like a slightly Lovecraftian
Yeah.
toy box.
It's nice being like just little bits, just like spoonfuls at a time, where it's like you pulled some really weird fish up, and then some guy's like, I want it. And then you see him just eat it raw, and then he doesn't talk whenever you go visit him again.
Yeah.
Just like those little moments and the way it builds up, or you dredge up, some weird
Yeah.
items from down in the deep.
Trinkets.
I think I think video games is actually one of the more perfect mediums for Lovecraft, because I think Lovecraft, everyone can understand cosmic horror, but the thing that people have a hard time understanding with Lovecraft is when cosmic horror becomes normalized and then like the horror comes back, right? And Dredge, I think, does a wonderful job of that because it's creepy. Everything is weird. The fish are mutated, but you're so caught in this loop of, oh, I'm just got to catch this creepy fish now. Oh, everything's creepy, but it's fine. And then the next wave of creep hits you and you go, holy shit, this world is fucked. And I forgot for a moment. And so like that constant realization that you are in a fucked world.
I think it works well in video games because it's purely experiential.
Yes.
It's empathy that you can't quite gain by reading something or in a story itself, because if you're actually in the driver's seat it's a little bit different than seeing someone else go through something and saying, I'm like that person, I'm sympathizing with that person. You are the person, so you're the one experiencing
Experiential, that's a good word.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can have it.
Congratulations. It's mine now. Sorry, everybody. This is mine now.
Yeah, I really think that it's the ocean and the sea pairs really well with cosmic horror as well, because we don't know what the fuck's down there.
No, man.
And
Except for an imploded submarine.
That's the only thing we know for sure.
Some leftover jelly from billionaire assholes.
That kid just wanted to have the world record of finishing a Rubik's Cube at the lowest depth possible.
Yeah, that kid was a casualty.
I mean,
Yeah. But he was technically a billionaire.
and one of the kids, like the survivors, like his dad was down there. They didn't know if he was dead. He's like, I think you would want me to see Blink-182 today.
That's right. And
Really?
This is very off topic. This might be cut out of the episode.
No, this all stays in.
But did you see, like, recently that kid is now, like, tweeting super racist shit?
Yeah, I saw that.
Who saw that coming?
Is he
Billionaires racist? I
Is
don't
he
know.
tweeting on his Twitter, or is he got a Thread account yet?
He's tweeting on his Twitter because,
Okay.
Twitter will allow that kind of shit.
What do you do on Thread? Threading?
I have no...
Threading.
You're threading? Yeah.
What is thread? Nobody's explained this to me yet, and I'm too afraid to look.
It's the new Twitter.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably end up being
It's
Twitter.
owned by Meta.
It's a little funnier than just that, though, because Musk fired all of his really good staff,
And they all went there.
and then Zuckerberg's like, yes.
Yeah.
And Musk is like, how the fuck dare you think you can do that? And they're like, they didn't have jobs, and they have skills with social media.
I believe I'm quoting him and saying patents are for pussies. And now it's biting him in the ass.
That is a direct quote. He said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now he's stupid.
It's Twitter, but made by Facebook.
Yep.
That's it.
Owned by Instagram.
It's when you're
Who's owned by Facebook.
When you're
Yep.
when you're cheering for Facebook, you know you're in a bad world.
Fucking right.
It's
Yeah.
like when you're cheering for Disney. and I'm at that spot. I'm like, fuck yeah, Disney.
Let them fight.
You show me. Yeah.
I'm just obsessed with Avatar now, so I guess go Disney.
Yeah, I saw Avatar 2 as well. I'm surprised at how much I liked it. I don't
very
think it's
good.
great storytelling, but it's beautiful.
I
It's
enjoyed
wonderful. It's experiential.
Fuck you.
it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry I took it back for a
Oh,
second.
you took it back. I did not give you permission
just
to
for a
use that
second, but it rubber bands back to
Okay,
you.
okay.
Okay.
So-
I literally titty twisted it out.
You twisted the titty.
Yes.
And if you're listening to this, he actually did reach over and twist a titty.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I was going to bite on it. I thought it was too forward.
Yeah, that's
that
that's
would've been too much.
too early in the episode.
Okay, too. All right. Later.
Yeah, but there's a time I'm out at sea looking for a treasure, and it was the first time a giant monster like went by the boat.
Yeah.
And I saw the rest of the game in my head, and when I didn't get to go hunting or doing anything with those giant underwater beasts, my disappointment was so intense. I thought for sure, like, all right.
Did you think the loop was going to change in that you suddenly had like a third person like boat combat game?
I didn't even need that. I thought like when we were learning about bait and bombs, it was going to culminate in like we have to
luring game.
a luring game, and there'd be a way you have to like get the right bait and get the right whatever, and you have to lure it and even have it chase you to a certain spot.
Yeah.
You have to use your haste. I saw this like grand gameplay culmination, and it didn't happen. And I'm like, why have them out there? I get it. It's
a hard
experiential,
needle.
but
It's a hard
it twisted
needle
my
to
goddamn
thread.
titties is what happened.
Yeah. It's experiential, and that part that is kind of what I was expecting too. And once that like third act hits and there's not as much to do in the world, I kind of realized what I was working towards had kind of fallen off a little bit, which is disappointing. But I also think that technically the game is as long as it should be, and I liked what the package was in totality. But having that like grand finale, I kind of knew it wasn't going to happen. A lot of indie games don't really get you to that level. Sometimes it's going to be a harder boss or a different version of a harder boss, like Hades. Hades is all about rerunning The same thing, pretty much.
Man, I could do an entire episode on Hades right now.
I know. We've already done it, though.
I'll do it again.
But
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No, but that's okay. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'll talk about.
You missed the God of War talk.
Oh,
But the point is in. Oh, hold on. We're cupping our mics now. No, like in Dredge has one trick that it does really well. The fishing loop is its shiny meat and potatoes. And when it gets to that final, when it gets time for the game to end, I think they were smart enough to know, you know what, just end it.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be done. We're not going to give you something new. We have our meat and potatoes. And it's a relatively short game, which is beautiful.
You can finish this in about, how long did it take, everyone? That's a big question.
I probably played it in like 8 or 9 hours, I'd say.
I think I did about 12.
Yeah.
I'm about 6 hours in.
Yeah. And you can take your time, but if you're not adventurous, this game could be a lot longer.
Yeah.
I think that's also the theme of the game too.
I do like those nights where you're sitting there like, I could do an all-nighter. In-game, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I just want to finish this out here on this island, and I'm too far away from a dock, and then it's like 4:30.
I never
and
risk
things
the
are
dark.
chasing you.
I never risk the dark.
Yeah, the dark is great, and what didn't work for me.
only 10 hours.
Yeah,
And I'm a relatively slow gamer, so.
Yeah. I did 12 because I was too nervous to go out into like the voids.
What didn't work for me, because you collect research parts, and part of what dredging is you need to collect materials for your ship. And at some point, I had maxed out all of my research in my ship, and I was about 2/3 of the way through the game, and that really just sapped my desire to go out and do other things. Because up till then, I was like, I need everything maxed out. I need more space. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh.
We all know Brad's the min-maxer of this group.
I kind of am.
You are, actually. Yeah, I know that for a fact.
And he's the George Clooney.
And I'm...
We've established this.
And I'm...
You're the wild card.
Oh, yeah.
Wild card, bitches.
I'll take it.
You're like Diablo's mom.
Lilith.
If Lilith and Charlie Day had a child.
Whoa.
With a bandana.
Yeah.
It's true. I'm wearing my One Piece Red bandana from the film One Piece Red.
Oh, you're a fan of that Netflix show? The new live action one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It looks good. I don't know.
It does not look good.
Okay.
It's a problem.
My kids just started watching One Piece. They're very into it. It's very exciting.
I do not like the anime at all.
Oh, that's they're on episode like 450 because there's
a lot of
like 2,000 episodes.
1,050.
I know nothing about One Piece except for it's got the kid with the stretchy arms.
I didn't even know that.
He's a pirate, right?
He's a pirate. I don't know.
They're all pirates, yeah.
Okay.
And they eat a fruit and it gives them superpowers, but then they can't swim.
Yep.
But they're pirates. It's
Yeah.
a pirate-based economy.
Well, it's not a pirate-based economy.
Son of a bitch.
They're just living outside.
And here you thought you had it nailed down.
There's no way.
You're pretty close, but
Okay.
I'll tell you, if you're gonna consume One Piece, read it. Just read the manga. The manga has everything you need. There's no filler. There's no constant like still shots of the one character, and it's a pan up, and it's just them not doing anything, and music's playing. Toei Animation is the worst company for animation in the world. I said it.
Wow.
And I'm not offended, so that's okay.
I don't
Yeah, I don't
fine.
think- Some of the listeners, hopefully we get angry emails.
Oh,
It's great.
It's anime
fight me.
fans, yeah, you're gonna get angry emails.
We got the angriest email we got was one time Dylan and I did British impersonations, and the guy said he felt violently ill and he had to turn the podcast off.
That was the biggest compliment you could have given me.
And I was like, "You want us to do more of them? That's the way to
And then
do
we
it."
did. We did do more of them.
Yeah.
Hey, bruv.
Oh no. Yeah, so the map, it's, a big square. You start in the middle, and then you go to this spot over here.
Yeah.
You get your bombs, then you go down to the research station.
Yep.
Giant octopus squid monster at the bottom, and you just help the researcher get a dog and turn on a few...
Well, the squid...
There's a dog. Did you not find the dog?
Yeah, I found the dog. I was trying to think of. It's been a bit since I played it.
Yeah.
even though it came out a couple months ago.
This game is interesting in the fact that even me trying to recollect it, because I beat it probably within, 10, 15 days of owning it.
Yeah.
And after choosing it. And I had to sit there and be like, what did I experience in this game? And the only thing I could remember is clink, 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 clink,
yeah,
and hitting the prompts.
Fishing, yeah.
I think the reality is that because there is a hidden story there, and I've got a pretty good grasp on it. Like, he unleashes the void. He's responsible for this fog. He's responsible for these creatures coming out at night. And your wife's dead, and you're trying to revive her from the dead, essentially.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I got that eventually, but when I was reading those stories at first, I was like, until that reveal, Tyler, you're about to get spoiled.
I don't think it's too far stretched to do like a character swap sort of thing.
About to get spoiled. You literally just said everything that happens in the game.
Well, the collector...
Tyler, you've been spoiled.
You've been spoiled.
Guess what? We opened up the void and you were spoiled before.
Oh, shit.
You've been spoiled.
It's already happened. What? It's all cycles
damn it.
in the cosmic well.
You've been
Tale
spoiled
as old as time.
No, you're the collector. And it turns out that the guy you've been visiting on that manor is you.
The collector that you give the junk to?
Yeah.
No shit.
Not the fishmonger.
Those are sacred relics to resurrect
Across the
your
bay
wife.
from the fishmonger.
Yeah, you thought that was a doorway? That's a mirror.
No, not across the bay, kitty corner from the bay.
Oh, so the guy that's upgrading your ship with the book.
Yeah.
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 The guy that's super sketchy and has a book that allows your ship to just break into a million pieces and just submerge out in front of his house.
It's called a warp, and I don't know if you watched the newest season of Deadliest Catch, but it really makes it for an interesting show.
Man, if they had that shit in Deadliest Catch, I'd be into it.
My favorite part about Deadliest Catch is the people who are like, yeah, I could fucking do this job, whatever. And then after one time at sea, they're just like, I can't. I gotta go home.
I cannot do
There's
this.
always one plant per season that's you got the greenhorn out there, he's getting all wet, and then he's like, I just want to go home and miss my mom. I don't even like crab. Get me out of here.
I just thought I could do it.
Yes.
Brad, how do you think you would fare on the Deadliest Catch boat? Yar.
I've never seen an episode.
Really?
But I think I would do well. I'm good at adapting, and part of me has always wanted to work on a fishing vessel and be out at sea for 6 months at a time.
Mariners do eat very good. So the food, they do, yeah. There's a lot of fishing shit up north where I just was in the UP.
And one of my favorite characters in all sea movies is the cook. There's always that one cook who's just smoking a cigar and upset.
My favorite character in One Piece is Sanji, the
Is he
cook.
the cook?
Yeah.
Speaking of One Piece.
Oh, but what I was going to say. So what I was going to say.
Anime nerds always bringing it back to anime.
Manga. Let's be clear.
It's fucking manga, Jack.
And it's manga, Jack. Come on, dude.
Listen, I hope you enjoy your comic books. I'm not here to.
I love my comic
I'm
books.
not here to disparage your.
I love 'em.
Your funny books.
Yeah.
Until the masses start reading manga.
It's actually the most popular selling form of literature right now.
Do you see what you've awoken in him?
Yeah.
Do you this is real?
What I was gonna say is there's something about. It's great. He's great.
Okay.
He's very suave. Bit of a pervert. Whatever.
That's not something you whatever away, but continue.
Whatever. It's fine. It's Japanese. Whatever. But one of the things that I really like about this game, what actually drew me to it, is that I love sea exploration in video games.
Yeah.
My first real good experience with it was Wind Waker. Mm-hmm. When I was suddenly just like, oh, I just really like boats.
Yeah.
I was like, fucking boats,
And then
man.
Black Flag.
Black Flag. It's my favorite Assassin's Creed for a reason.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I just started that today.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's pretty wonky looking so far.
Well, I mean, having your boat and going out to sea. They do it again in Valhalla, but you only get a raiding vessel. I mean, Valhalla is still cool, but there's just something about having a legions on a boat and just sailing around, and you can go anywhere. Really suits my fancy. I like it.
I
pajamas.
like this kind of being alone at sea. My favorite book is still Moby Dick, but it's basically for crazy people. I read it at the worst time in my life, and I was just so into it. I learned what a mizzenmast was. I know about how they get inside the whale once they bring it up to harvest the insides of it. Fucking brutal work, man.
Are you talking about Avatar 2 now?
It is actually, I actually said, like, oh, this guy's Ahab. And my wife's like, really? I'm just like,
and that's
no,
Jermaine Clement pretending to speak in a regular English accent.
Yeah, I saw through that ruse right away.
He's right there. He's really in that role. I was like, that can't be him. He gained like 500 pounds.
He's one of the few actors that when I see them, even if they're in heavy makeup, I can't see Pat. I'm like, I know who you are.
I think he was just living
see
there.
through this.
You should be singing a song right now.
Yeah.
About hippopotamuses.
He was good. Men in Black 3, I liked his character.
He's great. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad actor.
That like time traveling aliens, because they took his eyes away, so it like took part of Jermaine away.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal actor, though. Not taking anything away from him.
He did a good job in that movie.
Speaking of Dredge,
his face.
I do love tangents, but
yeah, I know.
So near the end of Dredge, there's a number of ways to learn the story. You've been picking up these messages in a bottle at sea, which I read 2, and then I quit reading because I just would rather have the full story once I got them all
in sequence.
Yeah. Essentially, it's written by a lady, your former wife, and she's saying, we got a new boat, and he's super... they did a naming ceremony, and she said she wouldn't give up part of the old ship, and she brought it on board, which is supposed to be very bad luck. And nothing's going well. At some point, he dredges up a coffin, which is an ominous thing to dredge up from the bottom of the water. And in that coffin, he finds the book. You find the book. And that book is what is bringing about the old gods and the mayhem. So the messages inform a lot of that. And he opened the book, unleashed some sort of power. It destroys their boat, killed his wife, and stranded him and the old mayor on a small island. You can run into the old mayor. He's just this like crazy, kooky-looking old man by a fire.
He's required for the good ending.
He is. The good ending. So there's, What are the 2 different endings here, Dylan?
One of them is literally you go to the void, you have the book, and you revive your wife.
Yeah. But to get there,
I forget. I only had the bad ending. I had to look up the good ending.
I don't think you even in the bad ending confront yourself. Like you don't know the collector's you. I don't think.
No, the bad ending is reviving your wife and unleashing the untold horrors upon the earth.
Yep, and you actually go out to the water, and your wife like rises up above, and then behind you, a giant
Cthulhu essentially shows up.
Yeah,
that sounds gnarly.
It's awesome.
It's a cool illustration. Honestly, I had it as my phone background for probably a minute.
And in a world where everything is pretty calm, and you get used to that, like the atmosphere of the chill nature of the world, to have something like that happen is extra striking.
Well, and even talking about like Moby Dick or these stories about like ocean voyages, what you have are extended periods of nothing, and people are going crazy. They're kissing each other. They're a lot of sailors became gay at sea way back in the day. That's not a joke.
They're kissing each. The way you said it though, like they're going crazy. They're kissing each other.
Right. Strong.
They're losing their fucking minds.
Yeah.
Kissing.
It's described as strong male bonds. We all know what that is.
I was gonna say Moby Dick. I think they're very explicit that like that Ahab and the first mate are sleeping together.
Oh, essentially, yeah.
I listened to the last podcast on the left. The whole whaling episode thing, and you said it much more politely than they did.
Oh yeah, well I mean it's sucking and fucking. It's all there.
There we go. Now
but
you're on board.
I think there's something about I think there's something cool about like this hunt for something or this want for something, and these moments of like pure calmness before something erupts and something happens. Because when they found a whale, it was insane. Like everyone on the ship would go crazy. They'd all like go nuts. Like they would literally have like a blood fervor within them because this is their job. This is something they had to work with.
Yeah.
And I wonder like if that's what they were actually going for, because a lot of this game is like, gotta get my way over here. Chug, 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 especially early in the game.
Yeah.
Because if you have the fastest ship, it's nothing.
Your little boat is so cute too. It's not like a big vessel. It looks like Steamboat Willie out there.
Yeah.
Well, no, and what we were talking about earlier with this, like how you get acclimated to the crazy, you know, like when you find your first mutated fish, you freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
5 hours later, you're catching mutated fish and you're like, oh, great, now I can get more money for them. Like you get acclimated to the crazy. So then by the time you hit, I guess I got the bad ending, which I guess makes sense because I didn't 100% the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, the good ending is just you being swallowed by Leviathan with the book.
You save the world from the
fuck that, I want my wife. So then I got the good ending.
I got the good ending too.
I think destroying the world's a great thing.
By the time you get there, like you have already been acclimated to the crazy. So the fact that you get that big awesome ending is true to the acclimation.
Yeah, I mean it purposefully builds you up to be like, the first time you find the weird fish, you're like, I don't know. But as you keep doing it
I give you $65 for it.
Exactly.
Ooh, now it's a commodity. Yeah.
I like that buildup of your own expectations in comparison to what the story is giving you. Mm-hmm. Because eventually when weird stuff really starts happening, it's almost like you didn't go insane, but you're so acclimated to the idea that this world is suddenly weird that you just go along with it.
Yeah.
I think that's good emergent storytelling.
It is.
And it's interesting to me. So all of the people that populate this world, they have been around for a while, but apparently only the lighthouse keeper and that one old crazy guy on an island are old enough to recognize you.
So you've been around for a while.
Because this happened I think maybe 20 years ago or something. But you've been away on your mansion. But the lighthouse keeper, she sees you and she's like, I didn't think I'd see you again.
Because she was young.
Yep.
When she met you.
Yeah.
So you've been around for a while. So you've got like this kind of Dagon, like cult of Dagon energy living in. Have you guys read the Dagon story of H.P. Lovecraft? Okay. I've got the whole.
You have the manga?
No, I have an actual book.
That was a joke. That was a callback to the manga.
It was a callback.
It was a callback. They did actually make a manga of
so many big titty Cthulhu.
The tits are so big, and they've got tentacles.
No, wait,
on
there was a Cthulhu dating sim.
I have a board game that is Fast and Furious mixed with Cthulhu. It's called Fast and Fathagan.
Nice.
I haven't played it, but I was with $10 on sale, and I said I can't not buy it.
I'm trying to remember. I played it. It was put out by Dredge, and I'm trying to remember what it was now. It was called like Cthulhu Love Triangle or something like that, where you are like wooing an eldritch god, and it's big titty Cthulhu. I'm
kind of into it.
It's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah. That's like a lot
of the art you do.
Oh, I make a lot of weird art, yeah, but not like that.
Oh.
I've actually drawn like actual nude people, yeah, but I don't think I've ever gone as far to be like, ooh, you know what this Cthulhu couldn't use? Just big jumblies.
Now imagine if they had titties on them.
Yeah. I've never done that.
Yeah, so the lighthouse keeper.
I draw a lot of animals.
The lighthouse keeper, and then the old mayor. Eventually, she's the one who tells you. She tells you like, you have the book. It's in your hand, and then you look down and you have the book in your hand, and then you go to the collector and you confront yourself and you punch the mirror. You like try and rip the book from your own hands, but you wind up punching the mirror and breaking the reflection. It is funny at this point, you can still choose to do the bad ending. You're like, all right, I don't care. I'd rather see my dead wife and risk the planet. But if you want to do what is canonically the good ending, the keep your wife dead ending is what I call it. But yeah, then you take the book out to water and you throw the book in the sea, and then a giant sea creature eats you.
It's literally just the Leviathan.
Yeah, it's the Leviathan. It's not the Cthulhu.
No.
Yeah.
Leviathan is like a protector of the seas in this story. It's kind of just like one of those primal nature beasts that they're only evil in the way that they're like a force of nature. Mm-hmm. Whereas like Cthulhu has like a plan and wants to do something with us. the Leviathan is like, I just got to protect the ocean.
Right.
So it's kind of cool. They mixed a little bit of Judeo-Christian mythology into this because it's based off of the Leviathan of that.
Of Final Fantasy VII.
That's also where they got that. Yes.
Yeah. Christianity is based on that game, actually.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
What do you think,
Cloud Strife, he died on the cross for my sins. No, Zack. Zack would be Christ.
Yeah.
Zack is the Christ figure in that game. He died for Cloud's sins.
Absolved them. And if you think about it, the Buster is just one half of a cross. And when he crosses swords with Sephiroth is long sword,
Masamune.
that creates a
Masamune.
Yeah, what?
That's the name of his sword.
It's been a hot minute since I played Final Fantasy VII. So.
Yeah.
I don't know how I remember the name of his sword.
Because it's a classic sword name.
Yeah, it's a Hanzo blade.
It's not like the Dark Moon Great Sword or something. It's a classic blade.
Classic.
Yeah. There's some side quests. There are like figures in robes that eat fish in front of you. There's glowing altars where you have to play Tetris with certain crabs or sharks and fill it up. You can get little upgrades by getting these books, by doing these quests. 10% plus speed for your fishing and stuff. Just the right amount of side quests, I'd say, for this game. Yeah, it's enough to keep you satiated.
It's not overbearing.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason I like the side quests. It actually they only give you as much as you need as you go forward. Each town generally only has one at any given time. The only part I hated was finding those offside merchants who had their own little vessels.
Who is the same merchant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had a hard time finding him sometimes. It annoyed me. But that's my only complaint, really.
Whenever I play a game, I'm always very, I wouldn't say skeptical, curious about what the scope is going to be in terms of side quests, main quests, and length.
Yeah.
You know, with games being $70 now and a lot of them being open world, I want my money's worth. I want to have good content and a good time frame. I don't want the game to be over too quickly. It can't overstay its welcome. So when I saw the board and realized, oh, I'm just going to fill this up with tasks to do, and there's not going to be anything outside of that, other than maybe some Easter eggs that I haven't found, or maybe you guys talked about before I got here. I do think the game is perfect in setting your expectations on what this experience is going to be like.
Absolutely.
And I was very appreciative of that, because it takes that kind of worry of like, is this going to be an 8-hour thing, a 17-hour thing, or, you know, it was...
Well, yeah, I think you're right.
I enjoy that.
No, I think you're right on that, and I think also a lot of how I judge video games is, did I get the bang for my buck?
Yes.
And I hate to be all capitalistic about it, because I think certain things can be short and still fulfilling.
I'd say the like finished gameplay minute per dollar is a cool thing to think about. Like,
yeah, and but it's also not the way I approach art in general, unless it's video games, which feels kind of hypocritical, because you can pay a lot for a painting that you're going to look at for like hundreds of hours. Technically, it's just going to be sitting on your wall.
But I play Kentucky Route Zero for 6 hours and then think about it for 6 years.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's something that just becomes a part of your philosophy.
And I think because it's generally $25 essentially is what it is.
Yep.
Unless you get it on sale. I bought it day one, and I got the bonus one. I think I got like an extra thing. I don't know. It was $27. I wish my mom would take me to get video games still as an adult, and I wish that there were like pamphlets I could open and I could just read it, and I'd be like, Link's on another adventure. Let's see what kind of shit's going on.
Mom, Baird's 35.
That's like
blood type A.
That's still even younger than you. That's crazy.
I can't relate to RPGs anymore. I'm no longer 16 years old. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but like on the
We
conversation
still try to kill
of,
God.
on the conversation of like hours of fun per dollar, right? Or dollar per hours. It's like, I think we do think about it in all art, like in, movies are a great example, right? Because they're about 2 hours. How much is a movie ticket nowadays?
Like $20.
Too much.
I mean, inflation,
Insanity.
am I right? It's the supply chain.
Yeah.
So like $10 an hour is what you're paying, and if you like the movie, you're like, okay, I'm okay with $10 an hour. So like Dredge, I got 10 hours of it. Let's say we paid $25. That's $2.50 an hour. That's amazing.
It's an amazing
that is
deal.
a value.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Right.
I also appreciate games that are not $60. Like they know like what they're delivering.
Indie game. That's the beauty of indie games, though. Indie games have the benefit of being smaller things and setting that expectation at that level.
But even let's say Dredge is 60 hours. We all liked Dredge because we're talking about
it would have overstayed its welcome.
But no. If it was $60,
Yeah.
I'm then paying $6 an hour. That is still cheaper than a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck all y'all. Like they got to make their money, is what I'm saying. Like I understand. Like there are pricing. What do you say it? Like conventions or expectations. There are pricing expectations for AAA games and indie games. But if we're talking about hours of fun per dollar, I'm still paying less for Dredge than if I went to go see Avatar, which I did not go to see. But
I waited till the theater, and I really regret it.
What? I wanted to hate it.
You couldn't.
It was.
I'm
pretty.
sure it was fine.
It's just pretty.
Yeah.
It's like a really
once I
nice
get to
car
the-
without an engine on the inside. To me,
I'm sure it's fine. But I guess this is what I'm saying is if we look at
Just no AWA like we do.
if we look at movies as an example, I think video games are too cheap.
yeah, and I mean,
I think in certain occasions you're right. I think absolutely.
developers should be getting paid more for the work they do.
Yeah, if you look at the amount of time I've put into Elden Ring and tried to quantify the price per hour,
Right.
I'm in it's got to be pennies at this point.
100%.
I'll even feel guilty after loving a game so hard on Game Pass, and I'm like, I've played this 70 hours, and I have not given $1 to the developer. They're getting like back end a little bit, but
And well, they get front end
paid-
too because
they get-
Xbox
they-
gives
yeah.
them a little bit, and then the Xbox also or Microsoft looks at the metrics for how many people are playing it, and then will hopefully give them more money to develop another game.
They actually do because they're purposefully cycling that back in.
Yeah.
I think Game Pass might be the best thing for indie games that's ever existed.
it's opportunities to be playing a lot of things I normally wouldn't, which I think is very valuable.
Which is awesome because we've done like What Remains of Edith Finch, an example of a good storytelling game.
A game that I would never have bought, I never would have looked
Yes.
at because it What Remains of Edith Finch, I don't know what that title means, and it just looks like a walking sim.
Yeah.
And it's through recommendations and the ability to play things for free or like with my $60 service. Game Pass is really cool.
I'm kind of known as like the sommelier. I have a lot of expectations put on me on this podcast.
Sommelier.
Yeah, which means he drinks a lot of wine, but he knows a lot about wine.
True.
Yeah.
If I turn it into a hobby, it's fine.
I try and
You understand.
I used to try and resist.
No, I turn it into expertise, Jack. This one is also very grape.
Ooh, in a bag.
This one gets me drunk as well.
This one has hints of shoe leather, and for some reason, I like that.
Give me that shoe leather. I still can't believe this game just came out in March. That really blew my mind. I even wrote it down and I read it.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
This feels like it came out 2 years ago. Like I remember it honestly, but it's so good. And it for me, this was a Steam Deck game. This was one where I snuggle into my Steam Deck and play it like on the couch while wife is watching something on TV, and it's just that like intimacy of it being so close to me, I think helped.
I wonder.
That sounded sexual.
That's fine. If I had a Steam Deck, I'd be very intimate with it.
Honestly, like you smell.
I
like,
love the Steam Deck.
There's a smell that comes off of the exhaust, and my wife is like, "Why are you sniffing your Steam Deck?" I was like, "No, there's like a smell." I fucking love it.
That's how I feel about books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly get it. This game feels like it could have come out 10 years ago.
Yeah.
This is a game that has the graphical fidelity is fantastic.
It's got a timeless quality.
It does have a timeless quality. It's technically what you would call cell shading. But they've stylized it in such a way where it's polygonal in a way that it doesn't look exactly
That means it has many wives.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
Utah.
And they're not really jealous of each other.
Polygonal.
It's like, hey, babe,
I can never be in a polygonal marriage.
Hey, babe, you're a triangle. I'm a quadrilateral. It's cool.
But somehow we like fit sometimes, but not all the time.
Sorry.
No, I think this honestly to me also felt like a game that could have come out like 10 years ago. Like when the boom of like PS4, Xbox One, they had a swath of indie games just flying right into it, and they were trying to harbor all of these like new things coming in because AAA games started to become harder to develop, and it took a longer time, so they had to come up with ways to. I mean, even look like Ubisoft was even making what I would consider, like Child of Light, or like there were other like platformers that they did where it just felt like, oh, you're making smaller projects so you can bolster the larger ones, and this feels
should be doing,
which is what they always should be doing.
Yes,
Child of Light's amazing. It's a really good RPG, but like this feels honestly like if I had played this even like 10 years ago, my mind would have been blown.
Yeah,
I still love this game, but where I am with my life and what it takes to actually wow me anymore, I don't know if I'm getting jaded. I feel like
yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm 33 years old, so
I think you became so jaded you've come back around to the other end, though.
I've looped.
Yeah.
Because if I liked Avatar: The Way of Water,
You were so jaded that you started to like the new Bayonetta offshoot game.
Oh, Bayonetta Origins is really good. Yeah,
I believe you.
Yeah.
And I actively heard your
You were so
disdain
upset.
for that
That
game.
trailer looked so bad. They did not explain to you.
I think
what
you
the
have
game
come
actually
full
was.
circle.
It's a lovely game.
There is DLC coming out for Dredge.
Oh, nice.
They in May of this year they added map markers. This is free DLC.
Oh wow!
So that's good. It's good to be able to manage your map if you forget something. A couple days ago, actually, they added photo mode and wildlife, which I never use a photo mode in the game, but they added like there's new wildlife. I think there's like turtles and some like seagulls that you can take pictures of. Whatever.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's fine. Coming later this year, boat paint and flags.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's not bad. I'm happy for free DLC.
I don't think I'll
I'm not
play
gonna,
this again for a while.
I guess that would be my question: is this in hopes of enticing new players, or is this in hopes of getting old players to play it again?
To me, I think it's part of one of the things I love.
Trim your damn tree branches. They are hanging over your power lines. That is going to fall right on there. What is? I'm sorry. I'm looking out your window, and you have to trim that.
Bradley,
tree branch.
come on, man.
We just had my backyard was literally on fire.
Brad, come on.
Your backyard was on fire.
My backyard was on fire because a tree branch fell on my power line, ripped my box off, and lit my backyard on fire.
You should probably talk to your landlord.
I should.
I mean, that's dangerous.
Hey, my friend Jack was here, Doreen. Okay.
Yeah.
You seen that?
Look at
He's
that.
on YouTube sometimes.
Look at that.
Doreen loves Escapist.
Doreen.
She loves Escapist.
I love Doreen.
Big D&D
I love her already.
Big D&D
I've never met her.
fan. Loves the recap.
No, I think I think these bonuses are interesting in a way that it's like it's a throw to people who really love this game. But I wonder, we did Don't Starve last week, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a game you can infinitely replay over and over again. Dredge is not one of those video games where these cosmetic things seem to matter, are like the endless ones where it's almost like a status thing to have like these extras.
Right.
These extras don't, unless you like decorating for some reason and you want to play this over and over again. I know this is someone's game. I know this is someone's forever game.
Unless
but
they potentially have plans for some sort of story add-on at some point.
Which we will talk about in a sec. But what I wanted to say, what I wanted to say
I
though,
just predicted it,
is one thing that's great about these indie games is you can jump on a Discord that is ran by the developers.
Yeah.
I chatted with a developer, like the main creator of this game, and I was just asking about Christchurch because I visited there before. But their community is giving feedback, and they're like, yeah, I guess it'd be cool to do boat paint. And we're sitting around in our studio. It's what they're working towards the next paid DLC, the first paid DLC. Mm-hmm. So in the meantime, they're like, yeah, we could easily implement some new things. And I think that's cool that, like I was researching Celeste, and they would just be able to like do changes and just like put the game out with like changes very quickly based on what they think would be good feedback. And the fact that you can have feedback with them, it's not, God of War Ragnarok, where you're dealing with massive amounts of people and you are so far away. I can go on Discord and just immediately be direct messaging the creator of this game, which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
And they said they'd like to do an interview with us at some point, right?
They said, I'm not going to do a New Zealand accent. I thought about it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're too busy right now, mate. We're trying to get the game out.
That's not bad.
We're doing the DLC. And
That's really quite
solid.
thank you. But they said, reach out in a couple months. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you on the show. And that was me doing it back to them, and then they quit responding.
And they stopped talking to you.
No, they said in a couple months to reach out because they're working a lot on the DLC right now, which the paid DLC
respectable.
is about the mysterious Ironhaven Corporation seeking to establish a new and innovative drilling operation. Reveal the truth behind the company as you collect materials for new constructions and biomatter to fuel the rig. So
Interesting. I like that.
Drilling operations, mysterious corporations that might be nefarious.
I mean, yeah,
Let's be honest, they're probably nefarious.
Can we just say how these small teams almost function better than these grand scale, like have to include everything, focus tested, like 4 people made this game. That alone is astonishing.
Well, that's why
You look at the game, you look at the final product, and I don't see just 4 people. Like these guys are geniuses at what they do.
We got
clearly
4 very talented people who share the same end goal and the same vision, as opposed to those larger games where there is such a disconnect between what the board wants, what the publisher wants.
Put it in
dude
email.
who's
We'll send
making
it to
the
the right
push
team.
Wants,
Yeah, it's just getting anything done when you're dealing with that many people is just different.
And I think that I do like that about indie games too, because it does feel like there's not to say that AAA games don't have a heart and soul. I played the newest God of War and I was just enthralled by it. Mm-hmm. But when you play an indie game that's this small and this kind of like bite-sized little fun, you do feel a little bit of intimacy with the creators of it. Like they really poured their heart and soul into this game to really create something special that I wouldn't have ever looked at twice unless it was on Spartacus or
That's
Brad
our
gave me a
code
copy.
name for Plus Premium because we hate the name for PlayStation Plus Premium.
Plus Premium. Just
It was
Spartacus.
It was codename Spartacus, which is a much better name.
Yeah. But no, it feels I wouldn't say more genuine, but I'm going to say it anyway.
You're right. It's the intimacy. It's that you actually get to see something come full term that someone had a vision of, and people backed that up, and then they all decided it's 4 people like that. We're talking like Team Cherry from even like Hollow Knight. That's why they're taking so long with Silksong. Everyone's like, where the hell's Silksong? And it's like, you're going to get it when you get it.
If they never gave an update for 10 more years, I would love it.
It's still fine.
Yeah.
It's fine to me because you made Hollow Knight, and Hollow Knight is a marvel of a video game. And like the expectations we have as consumers, I think really, like, if you look at, like, especially on Xbox, when you go into like the ratings and stuff, it's always like, this game kind of dumb though, and it's literally written out like that. 1 star. I'm like,
all lowercase, no punctuation.
yeah.
Savages.
And I'm always like, you haven't. I always want to yell at them and go, you haven't done anything with your life. You haven't created a fucking thing.
Don't get angry at the internet, Dylan. You won't win.
I know I won't win, but it's also why. But I rage against the dying of the light. You know what I mean? And I think, like, first of all, I
rage against the dying of the light.
I give indie games
That should be on your gravestone, man.
Well, that's a Dylan Thomas quote. The guy I was named after.
Oh.
Yeah. It's from the poem "Rage Against the Dying."
Yeah, idiot. No,
Is it in a manga?
No, he was a Welsh poet who died of a seizure in a
big
bar.
old anime titties.
It's on some big old titties.
Rage against the dying of these titties.
No, I think I give, especially, I don't think this game is perfect. I give these guys a lot more leeway in terms of like my own like personal judgment, because as someone who makes things every once in a while, if you're a small team, if you're someone who's plucky and you've got the right attitude, I give you a lot more credit than someone who's big and creating like these giant like corporation-based products.
Here's where I'm going to have to be a bit of a contrarian dickhead.
That's fine. Go
and
ahead.
I don't mean to make excuses for big corpos. But this is the position you've put me in, where it's like I think the comparison of indie games to AAA games is a bit apples and oranges. They have two vastly different workflows and two vastly different products.
Right.
It'd be like comparing a YouTube video to a major studio production.
Right, but I also
can't.
But I will also end up giving YouTube a little bit more slack,
of course,
because you kind of have to,
because it's a different product.
It's a different product, ostensibly in the same realm.
So I think I think you are correct in saying that indie games have more soul. Like it's a bigger achievement, but also we're dealing with different scales and different scopes and different workflows.
You're right. There is a monumental gap between what you can describe as an indie game and a AAA or even AA video game, which we now are living in a world where AA games are coming out. Like
Assassin's Creed Mirage will be coming out. That's a double A, I would say.
That will almost be AA.
It's going to be like a $40 new entry where they're like purposely like we're making it much smaller. It's not going to be a year-long adventure.
Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. That's a great example of a AA game, where it's kind of this short experiential thing. It's got some combat. I think it's Team Ninja. I
don't know. That game
don't quote me on
sucks.
What's that?
That game fucking sucks.
I played the entire thing.
Fucking sucks.
But it's a AA game.
I've never been more disappointed by a game because, like, I saw some trailers. And it's like, oh, this game looks great. Oh, the combat looks great. I was like, oh, I wish they would have put somewhere in the notes like you get one 20-second combat encounter every 5 hours.
Which game is this?
Hellblade Senua's
Sacrifice.
The girl Viking looking girl.
Yeah.
I played like 5 minutes of it.
Yep.
And I was like, this is not at all what I thought it was going to be.
It's the dumbest fucking game.
I enjoyed it.
I will go back and play it because I've heard it gets really good.
It does get good later.
One of my worst things I can hear is like, dude, the first 20 hours are slow.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the
I honestly liked what the game was, and I liked how they kind of build things up. That's a separate game.
Let's rank Dredge. So you haven't been a part of this before, Jack. We have a ranking of all the games that we've covered on these episodes.
Sure.
And currently the list is 43 games long. Number 1 being Bloodborne. Number 43 being Kingdom Hearts 1. So
somewhere in between there is Dredge.
I know
or it could be at the end.
It'll be above Kingdom Hearts 1.
It'll be above Kingdom Hearts 1.
So we'll go right here in the middle. Doom 2016 or Dredge?
Oh, Doom 2016. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Doom.
Yeah.
I agree. Super Mario RPG or Dredge?
Mario RPG.
If you haven't played, you don't get to.
Yeah, I haven't played Super Mario RPG.
Mario RPG for me, man.
Fuck.
It's just such the music and the
Apples and oranges.
I know, man.
I know.
I might. Okay.
You still have to do it.
Okay. I am ranking
pushing
this
you into the
as
corner.
an old man now who doesn't have the time to play Super Mario RPG and really enjoyed that 10-hour loop. So I would put Dredge above Super Mario RPG.
Okay, Brad, you're the decider.
So I love Super Mario RPG. It's something that should be stated. I think that's a phenomenal game. I remember playing that back on the SNES.
Most of these are phenomenal games.
Right. And so it's like, but right now, as an old man with responsibilities, I gotta go Dredge over Super Mario RPG.
I'm going Dredge.
Okay, that's fair.
Resident Evil 2 Remake or Dredge?
Didn't play it. Resident Evil 2 remake.
Me either.
I loved the Resident Evil 2 remake.
I'd go RE2 Remake.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 7 or Dredge?
7.
7.
So that puts it at number 26.
Nice.
That's solid.
Right.
What did Don't Starve get? Like 37?
36 or something like that.
It wasn't the highest.
No.
But Don't Starve is still above Kingdom Hearts 3 and Punch-Out. So it's got that going for it.
Ayo.
Punch-Out?
I'm not a huge Punch-Out fan. It ends up breaking down to like the consensus.
And
Punch-Out's great.
I know.
It's fine.
I know it is. I think I
understand
lost
it.
the battle on that one.
Oh my god!
I
It's
understand
just,
it's good.
just solid. It's like it's so simple and solid.
It's fine.
Fuck.
Now, if we did the Wii one, with the balance
the Wii
board.
one was great.
That one rules.
That was super fun too.
Jack, thank you so much for joining us for this discussion today.
Yeah, thank you.
If our listeners wanted to listen to some of your other content or to find you, how would they do so?
There are 3 ways to listen to me. One, anytime Elden Ring is said out loud, you'll hear me shouting in the distance. No, you go to redlettermedia.com where you can see me talk about bad movies. You go to escapistmagazine.com to hear me talk about video games or play Dungeons and Dragons. Season 3 of Adventure is Nigh coming out soon. Or you can go to Comedy Sports in Milwaukee and see me live on stage, most likely making fart jokes.
Yeah. Fantastic. You were there that night, right?
Yeah, I've been a couple times.
It's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
A lot of
It's fun.
And it's inexpensive. It's really nice to just go. It's like a nice
I got a ticket
option.
and got hammered and still had money left over, so it was great.
That hits all of the
Put that on the
everything
Google
I wanted.
review.
It's the Dredge of life experience.
That is a good Google review.
Right?
In Milwaukee right now, to have a really good time and get super fucked up and still not be broke is hard to do. So
I will often fall back on your content. I really enjoy it.
Thank you. I enjoy making it.
Yeah. Yeah, if I don't even know what to watch, I'm like, well, at least I could just I've got a swath. I like your D&D group too. It's really good. Yeah.
Real fun, real great to have them. They all came into town. We have one from Australia, one from one was coming from San Francisco, New Jersey, Washington D.C. They all descended on Milwaukee so we could play D&D live together, and it was
rules.
a beautiful time.
That's so cool.
A beautiful and stressful time.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you're on Twitter still. If you want to find that, you can. Look, you'll find it if you look
find
it up.
it. Twitter, or if once that blows up, I'll be on the other thing. It doesn't matter.
He's
It's
at
fine.
Jack the Cool Guy on Thread.
Yes. Speaking of, we have a Threads now.
Do we?
I have
Gotta stay on top of it.
I have a Blue Sky. I just got a couple days ago, and we have them. Just so everyone knows, I don't know if anything will happen other than, hi, we have a podcast again.
Right, and if someone is like listening to this in a couple of years, and you're like, "What the hell is Threads or Blue Sky?" Those were social media platforms that may or may not be around anymore.
Mostly, I was just afraid someone else would. Not that anyone's trying to get Hair the Dogcast,
Right.
but like, oh, we finally got them. We got their balls in the vice. We own them now. It's like we don't have any money to
Is
give you.
Kano coming after us?
From ear to ear. Yes, Hair the Dogcast exists because of people like you. So thanks for listening. If you wanted to support us, you can go to patreon.com/Hair of the Dogcast. We have a free trial available. So if you just wanted to check out some content, see the Discord, we encourage you to do so. Thanks to executive producers Ryan Christianik, Kip, Brian Ward, Jordan Hoff, and Phil Wright. We appreciate your support. Up next, we have Celeste will be the next indie game we discuss.
Lovely.
And it'll be 35 hours long of me talking the entire time. I'm excited about that one, in other words.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've been playing the game for a while now.
Yeah, big fan. And then, yes, there's always more Elden Dogs and more Hair of the Dogcast. And yes, we are going to be discussing Ronnie the Witch shortly, I believe. So,
Very fun.
thanks for tuning in, and happy fishing, everybody.
Zip.
Cthulhu titties.
Is that how it? Yeah. Okay.
That was perfect.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
I love you.